Episode 3. This three-part series will attempt to provide background and context for each of the European powers. Episode 1 addressed the rise of military planning and mobilization and Germany's solution for a two-front war. Episode 2 discussed France and Russia's evolution of mobilization planning. The Austro-Hungarian Empire was a multi-ethnic conglomeration with 14 official languages, and their army reflected the diverse nature of their people. Austria's loss to Prussia in 1866 and the resulting Austro-Hungarian Compromise of 1867 created the dual monarchy consisting of the Austrian Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary. In 1882, Austria-Hungary joined Germany and Italy in the defensive Triple Alliance Treaty. Germany's Bismarck crafted the alliance to be defensive to prevent Germany from being drawn into Austria-Hungary's Balkan affairs. Many meetings were held over the years among the alliance's general staffs, where strategic plans were shared. Germany shared its plans for a defensive war in the west while attacking Russia on the east. Austria-Hungary shared their plans for a Russian attack. The Austro-Hungarian generals found Schlieffen to be arrogant, and after Moltke the Younger assumed the role of German Chief of Staff in 1909, planning meetings were more productive. In the event of war, within the guidelines of the Schlieffen Plan, Germany needed their ally to mobilize and attack Russian Poland as soon as possible to allow Germany 6 weeks to conquer France. Moltke promised to attack from East Prussia with a smaller force, so Russia would have to fight on two fronts. In 1906, General Konrad von Hötzendorf was appointed Austro-Hungarian Chief of General Staff, and he was primarily concerned with Serbia in the decade leading up to the Great War. Under his guidance, mobilization plans were divided into 3 areas. Minimalgruppe Balkan, consisting of 10 divisions along the southern Serbian border. Staffel A, consisting of 30 divisions along the northern Russian-Polish border. Staffel B, consisting of 12 divisions able to move north or south depending upon whether the threat is from Russia or Serbia. By 1914, Austria-Hungary had developed Plan B for the Balkans and Plan R for Russia. Under Plan B, Minimalgruppe Balkan on the southern border would be joined by Staffel B in the invasion of Serbia, while Plan R had Staffel A on the Russian border plus the flex force of Staffel B. In May of that year, Hötzendorf and Moltke met in Carlsbad, and the decisions made in March of 1909 remained the groundwork between the two allies. The United Kingdom is separated from the continent by the English Channel and was considered primarily a naval power. Splendid isolation was a term coined for British indifference and ability to not be drawn into European conflicts. By the turn of the century, Britain found itself on the outside of all the continental alliances made over the last 20 years. The Entente Cordiale of 1904 opened the door for Britain and France to end over 1,000 years of conflict while addressing trade and colonial issues throughout the world. These open discussions carried over to the General Staffs meeting on a regular basis. By 1906, the British had developed preliminary plans to send an expeditionary force of 6 divisions to the Low Countries to intercept a German invasion under the terms of the Anglo-French-Prussian Treaty of 1839 that guaranteed Belgian neutrality. When Joffre came to office in 1911, he developed a good relationship with General Sir Henry Wilson, British Director of Military Operations. Joffre went as far as to share Plan 17 with the British in November of 1911. The British Navy agreed to assist in transporting the British Expeditionary Force to Belgium, following which it could turn its attention to drawing the German fleet out to sea and destroying it. At the turn of the new century, all the leading European powers had war plans in the drawer just in case a crisis emerged. On a quiet Sunday morning, 28 June 1914, in Sarajevo, Bosnia, A group of young Serbian nationalists succeeded in assassinating Archduke Franz Ferdinand, the crown prince of the House of Habsburg. The next 4 weeks witnessed a chain reaction of saber-rattling, mobilizations, and declarations that led to an all-out global conflict that would kill more than 9 million people over the next 4 years.